What's up, guys? It's Quinn.
It's Will.
It's Adam.
It's Iconic Comic, and we're back. And we are ready to review Episode 1 of Season 2 of The Mandalorian. It's called Chapter 9. The Marshal is the name of the episode. But this is going to be a mullet-style review like we used to do back in the day. That means we're going to review the episode. No spoilers in the front, and then after we do that, we'll talk about spoilers in the back. So right now, no spoilers. So if you haven't watched it, you just want to know what we thought of it. That's what this first part's for.
Here, let's let Adam start.
Yeah,
let's let Adam
Okay,
start.
I'm really bad at not spoiling stuff. So it was an amazing episode. That's probably one of my, I would say probably second favorite. I did really like the last episode of Season 1. This may be rivaling it. But I did like the change of pace because I felt like it was definitely a different take on what they did in the last episode. Like, it kind of went out. It didn't like just directly come straight off of what happened last episode.
I think it was the perfect start to this season. They took some risks and they also changed the way, like the style of the episode. And you'll know when you see it what we're talking about, but the style of the episode that they take with it. I actually don't think this is a spoiler. It felt like a Western while I was watching it.
I felt like in the first season they sort of went into it. This one, they just went, like, broke down the door just, like, full-fledged.
Yeah, like, kicked the saloon doors in. It was like, we're going a little kind of like, you know, Billy the Kid kind of feel with this episode, you know, stranger comes into town kind of feel. But
you guys ever seen Back to the Future 3? You know,
not the Western that I would bring up for the first one, but okay. Everybody, performance is great. Like, everybody in it. I don't want to spoil, like, all who is in the episode. We don't get a ton of Baby Yoda.
No.
Or the child. But I feel like it's just kind of... They're teasing us. They weren't gonna come out and like just make it a big Baby Yoda episode. They're gonna like, and honestly, I want it to be about Mando.
Yeah,
and
because we all want to learn. The title is The Mandalorian.
Right. It's not the Baby Yoda show. He's so good as the Mandalorian.
Oscar Isaac?
No, it's not Oscar Isaac.
Sorry, Pedro Pascal.
Yeah, Pedro Pascal.
Sorry.
I think the music great. I might say the best action in all of the series so far.
I don't know. I think
we get some good fight scenes.
The last one in the one episode where it was all the Mandalorians came in to help.
Okay, I don't know. It's pretty close
the prison
though.
Scene.
It's pretty.
The prison one was good.
It's pretty close though. It's pretty close. What I'm saying is the action doesn't take a dip at all. Yeah. The action is top notch.
It's a steady flow.
I love the direction it's going so far, and we all said at the end, like, why is this not like? Why can't I just Stranger Things this? Even though we also said at the beginning, I'm glad this isn't like Stranger Things. Like, we can watch it. Like, we can take our time with it. But then when an episode's that good, you want to watch.
Well,
the
if this is what they're starting off with,
oh god,
what do you think Episode 8, or if they're going to do more?
Well, they are going to do more. You mean seasons?
Yeah, because the first season only had, like, what, 8 episodes, right?
I think this is 8.
Okay.
I think it's 8. It might be 9. I can't remember.
If Episode 8 is, like...
Oh, God, I can't even...
That does kind of bother me on Disney Plus that they just call it Chapter 9.
Well, because I think that in the second episode, they're going to tell us what the...
They did tell you what it is called.
Yeah, but, like, if somebody was just looking at that, all right, Chapter 9, what's the episode called? Maybe I'm going to click on it and watch it.
Who knows? Anyway, let's rate the episode like we do. So out of 10, I'm gonna give this episode. I'm gonna go 9. I'm gonna go 9 out of 10. It's up there with one of the best episodes in the entire series so far. I mean, out of season 1 in one episode.
Are we rating it like out of 10 just for Mandalorian, or are we just rating it as like a show in general?
Both. I mean, it's just an overall ranking of the episode.
Then just an overall, I'd probably do 8.5. It was kind of a little bit slower in the start. But
I'm going to go a little low because I think this show can be better. Like,
we talk so good about it.
I know.
But I feel like low today.
But I feel like if we get too high of a score, it's not going to give, like,
wiggle room.
Better, the wiggle. So I want to say 8 out of 10.
I mean, they could all be 9s and 10s.
That's true. That's true.
Okay, so 8,
8.5,
8.5, 9. I mean, just goes in order there, so that's an average score of what, like
8.5. Yeah, because it's in the middle.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yes.
You sure?
If I give an 8, you give a 9. What's in the middle?
8.5.
8 plus 8.5 plus 9 divided by 3. Shut up.
Yeah.
That was a little math humor for you guys there. Okay, so definitely recommend it if you haven't watched the episode already. But if you have, we're about to get into spoilers. So if you haven't, save this video to your favorites. Come back because we're doing spoilers in 3, 2,
Big spoiler warning.
1, 0. Go away right now. Boba Fett.
Boba Fett! Boba Fett!
Like, it's... Here's the thing. I only have one problem with it, is it kind of makes you forget about the first 54 minutes of the episode.
Right.
Like, you're like, I don't care what happened. Boba Fett's there. Well, but they do such a good job teasing it. So, you know, the whole point of the episode is him...
Getting the armor back.
Well, it wasn't even really getting the armor back. He's trying to find
other Mandalorian.
another Mandalorian to help him find
And it turned out to
Baby
be
Yoda's
fake.
planet. Right. But as soon as he walked in, the Marshal, I was like, that's got to be Boba Fett's armor.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, it looked really like scrapped up, like it was like really.
Like going through a Sherlock pit?
Yeah.
Well, that's true. But not only that, remember, I also said, so I was like, I could tell he wasn't a real Mandalorian.
Yeah, because he was so skinny. Like that's
It
what
didn't
that's
fit
what I
him.
said.
That
And he also
armor
didn't
didn't
wear like the right underclothings for it, like
Yeah.
the right undergarments. Like it was like a red scarf or like
It was...
Well, he had like
but
a bandana sort
Yeah.
of deal.
I think it was done purposefully, though, to
Yeah.
show that, like, yeah, he doesn't fit that armor.
Yeah.
And
I
I
mean, he
thought...
still did good flying with it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, he's had it, I'm sure, for a couple of years, 5 years
5
or
years,
so
yeah,
now, since the Return of the Jedi. And I like they showed that little section there from Return of the Jedi on the hologram with the Death Star below was up, and I'm like, it was kind of like, where's the camera for that? Like, who's filming that?
Yeah.
Like, this is like an ESPN like coverage of the Battle of Endor. Well, let's kind of go in order, though. I know
Okay.
we had to talk
Yeah,
about Boba Fett
yeah.
from the start. So,
The beginning.
we start off from, honestly, I thought was going to be a scene way later in the show was the fight. Like they're in the little kind of underground fight.
Oh
league,
yeah, okay.
And Mando's trying to get info and.
And they like try to they're like, oh, we're gonna kill you. Like, come on now.
I'm like, yeah, you're gonna overpower this Mandalorian. At what point are these people gonna stop doing that? And then we
Cut to Tatooine.
Yeah, well, so like he messes up these fools, and
Of course.
we're like, okay, moving on. He finally gets the info. The Mandalorian that he's looking for is on Tatooine, which is not a lie.
No.
It's not a lie because Boba is on Tatooine, but he goes to the wrong place because that's where Boba's armor is, and the way. So up to that point, it didn't really feel like a Western.
No.
As soon as he comes into town.
And walking like on, it's almost like he's on horseback, but he's
Yeah.
on a speeder.
Yeah, so I talked about it a little bit in the non-spoiler, but they went full Western in this
yeah.
episode about like 10 minutes in, then they go switch to a Western, and it was filmed like a Western. Like he's going through the town and everybody's on like the porches and leaning on the doors.
Even the Marshal, he like when
Yeah.
they like were standing up, he had like his hand like almost like he was.
Now we've had a couple things like that in Star Wars before, like with Han Solo and stuff, where we've got like some, like, you know, just some Western vibes,
but
like
it was, like,
gunslingers.
But this one, like you said before, kicked down the saloon doors, like.
Well, he
full-fledged.
literally goes into a saloon, basically,
Yeah.
a bar, like just like in cowboy movies. Like, stranger comes into town, what's the first place he goes to? He goes to the
bar.
saloon. And,
As for the Mandalorian.
and you could even hear, like they made, like, spur sounds. I know it
Yeah.
wasn't spurs, but they made it sound like his metal and his armor, when he was walking, it sounded like the ching, ching, ching,
And
and
I did
spurs
like how
were
they
coming
threw
in.
in there, like, the bartender's like, I don't know what a Mandalorian is. And he's like, somebody that looks like me.
Oh, you must be
Oh,
the,
right there.
Yeah, you must be the Marshal.
Yeah.
And then the Marshal cuts in, like, and then we see the Marshal for the first time. We notice that he's not.
Yeah,
Mandalorian.
it's like, okay, this dude's... And even, well, because at first it was like, the helmet, I was like, that's Boba's helmet. Like, that's his stuff. But I'm like, it doesn't look like Boba, though. And then he talks, and I'm like, okay, it's definitely not Boba.
And then it takes
Like,
off the helmet, and you're like, nope.
And then they talk.
they're even, like, the way they take the shots, like, he's pouring 2 shots, he puts his feet up, and he's like the sheriff in town. Like, this is such a Western.
We also know he's
love
not
it.
a Mandalorian when he takes his helmet off.
Yeah.
Right, because they
Yeah.
don't take their helmet off unless apparently forced to.
Well, a droid saw him, so it doesn't.
Well, although, when did that rule come about? Because Jango Fett took it off all the time.
Well, he wasn't like, he didn't really follow the Mandalorian. He kind of sold out, like, to be honest.
Well, like, they took it off in Rebels, too.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like they just made that up for this show because it sounds cool. Maybe there's a new creed now that you have to follow. But basically, just like a Western, stranger comes into town, and conveniently he can solve a problem that the town's having. We have one of these big dragon monsters, which it's got to be the same kind of thing that was, if you go back to the first Star Wars movie, A New Hope.
You see the skeleton.
When C-3PO is like lost in the desert until he gets picked up by Jawas, you see the giant skeleton of some dragon-like thing. It's got to be the same species. So it's just wrecking shop.
It's wrecking shop.
I mean, it would be
wrecking all the life on Tatooine. Like, even the sand people wanted it gone, too.
I mean, it's basically if you're comparing it to a Western, it would be like a cougar or coyotes coming and killing your cattle, and then eventually, when they're out of cattle, they're going to start attacking you.
Yeah. And then, so, where we're at, he was meeting in the bar with the Marshal.
Oh, I just love. So I was really worried that the Marshal was going to be like a dick the whole time, and he really did a good turnaround. I thought he was going to be just a piece of shit.
I thought he was going to cross him,
double cross him like a Western sometimes. I just thought, and he was like a dick for the first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But then he kind of learned the way. Although they didn't say this is the way the whole time, did they?
No, they didn't.
I don't remember hearing it. They didn't say. I think it would have been too on the nose. Like, it's like, okay, that's the phrase of the show. This is the way. But they meet up with the Jawas, which are kind of like, if you're talking about a Western, they're kind of like the natives.
You mean the same people?
Oh no, you're right. Sand people. Sorry, Jawas. The sand people.
Before that, we see the dragon.
Well, yeah,
hit the village.
Yeah,
and then we see like the windmills like spin before
straight up
the
Western
thing
vibes. And but they meet up with the sand people. They're like, hey, let's work together, basically. But it was almost a Dances with Wolves vibe, where like how Kevin Costner works with the Native Americans kind of stuff, and he like learns their ways. Oh, he can do a perfect Tusken Raider impersonation. He can make the sounds and do the sign language.
I think the helmet does.
I don't know. Maybe it's like one of them Darth Vader voice changes that you used to have when you were a kid.
So they go back to camp with the Tusken Raiders. Marshal's kind of a dick to him because
he is not having it.
Because the Tusken Raiders raided their village.
But they also took their water. Like, so it's kind of like a real life struggle there. Like, it's like, here we go. Long story short with it, they end up combining forces, and they got to take this dragon out, and they try to blow it up one way. It did not work, and not even close. It was terrible. And then you learn this new power that it has to spit acid on people, and it is melting fools. But dude, when it retreats the first time after they attempted to kill it, and it ends up on the top of this mountain, it's like a turret gun. It's like and just murking fools.
And then they use the Marshal and the Mando use their jetpacks to go up the mountain. Ugh, that's so good. And then it goes back down after they shoot it a couple times, and it comes out the other side. I knew they were like, because Mando's like, I'm going to sacrifice myself, blah, 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 blah. And if you watch the reaction that we did to it, I was even like, dude, just strap one of these banthas up with some bombs and have it eat it. I mean, honestly, though, poor Bantha. And even the Bantha was like, I'm out of here. This is... Well, poor soul that drew the short straw that had to go, like...
With the Bantha? Why
That's what they did in the...
So...
And he started running away from it.
And then, it was kind of almost like Men in Black, the first Men in Black, like how Kay jumps into the alien and blows it up from the inside. So then it's like... oh, everything's good, and he's like, you know what, like, no hard feelings. Here's the armor, basically. Like, we'll be fine now. We don't have sand people to worry about because they've agreed to a ceasefire. We don't have the dragon to worry about. We really don't need this armor anymore.
And then the same people, like, I guess, raid the carcass of
it?
it?
Yeah, because they said, like, they agreed to work together if they could have it.
Mm-hmm. And then they find an egg.
Yeah, I hope they just destroyed that.
Is it an egg or is it like a pearl? Like
maybe it ate something.
Maybe it's like a pearl.
It looked a lot like an egg,
Yeah.
but
I'm
maybe if I break it down, if it's an egg, stomp on that thing immediately.
And then Mando gets the armor. Then you get that iconic.
He also like grabbed a big chunk of the dragon too? You see, he had a bit. I don't know if that was for food or for like
probably.
For fuel. Maybe he'd use it as like it's like fat, and you can like sell it or something. I have no idea what he wanted it for.
It cuts to the
Baby Yoda was like, licking it like.
Yeah, can we talk about the cinematography? How it goes out, and then for like the big fight scene.
Yes, the big fight scene. They went full screen for it, corner to corner, and then for every other scene that was just kind of like talking scenes, they made it feel tighter, like you were intimately
when he was
into
riding
it.
off, it
went shrunk, and then you see the two sons.
And
you
then,
see Mando, and then you see the back of Boba Fett.
Well, it was like, you saw the back of him, and it's like, first of all, I immediately was like...
See, I didn't realize it at first, I'll be honest. But then once you turn around, that face, like...
Yeah, I was like, dude... Well, I didn't realize it. I mean, he could have turned around. It could have been anybody. But I was like, dude, who else could that be? Like, God...
There were so many hints at it. Like, even in the
So
first
good.
season when they were on Tatooine trying to get that bounty hunter.
Right. I'm very happy with the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like I said, I gave it a 9. Adam gave it
8.5.
8.5, and Will gave it an 8. So, I mean, it's high up there on my list for sure.
Tell us what you guys think of it.
That's my line.
Oh, sorry.
I'm just kidding, but not really. But yeah, all right, predictions now. Next episode. Do we get more Boba right away, or do they kind of hold off on Boba till like episode 3, 4 or something like that? Just kind of like let us sit with it for a while, like Boba's watching from the side.
I think Mando keeps the armor. Boba's following him to get the armor back.
That or like that's the thing. It's like you would think Mando would look.
Does Boba have a ship? Because if Boba has a ship, then Mando may leave Tatooine, and then Boba follows him.
Right.
On a ship, but if Boba doesn't have a ship...
Or what if he just looks for Boba? Like I said in the reaction, if there's some way to figure out whose armor it was, and I was like, oh, this was the Boba Fett's armor. I don't know if he's that big of a deal with them as they is with us, but it's like, oh, shit. And by the way, you want to talk about a way to possibly redeem Boba Fett? Because look, everybody said like Boba Fett's like big badass or whatever, but he really doesn't do that much in the actual original trilogy. And like it's mostly like books and comics and stuff where like, he's like this badass bounty hunter and like canon or like you hear about things that he did, but what we've seen is very little of what Boba Fett can actually do. You want to talk about a way to like show us what he can do? Good googly moogly, ladies and gentlemen. Now, my only other thing I'll end this on. What episode do we get Ahsoka Tano?
6.
Is she confirmed?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. I didn't know
You
that.
know
I
who's
thought you
playing
were
her?
just throwing that out.
Rosario Dawson
from Daredevil and all these other shows was in it. But
okay, then I think she's coming in later episodes.
I think 6.
You think... that's the thing. I
think 6.
I think there's too... I mean, I don't know. I think there's too much already going towards, the current storyline to throw that in there too. So I think she might be more of a season 3 thing, but they're going to introduce her into.
Right.
But
maybe like 8 as like
I'm going to go 5. I'm going to go episode 5 because I think there's also a chance she could be. I'm just like making bets now, so we're all different.
I'll go season 8 or not season 8.
Season 8. Whoa, man.
The 8th episode.
The 8th episode. I'm going 5.
6.
I'm going 5 just because we're going to be at 5. You're ramping up to the end there. Yeah. I'm thinking that's going to be close to when maybe this is the only reason it'd be that early. Maybe she knows where his planet is. I mean, she's a Jedi. Well, was a Jedi. I don't know if she still is. I'm sure she still practices some sort of training.
In season 7 of Clone Wars, she gets her lightsabers back. She fights Darth Maul, all that stuff.
Right.
Spoilers,
dude, yeah, spoiler, but we're technically in the spoiler section, but dude, like Anakin's Padawan. Like, and
Cool.
there's so many opportunities for this to go. Like it's crazy that she's still alive. Like,
Yeah.
pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, let us know what you guys thought in the comments section down below. Make sure you guys like,
Comment.
Share.
and subscribe so you don't miss a single thing from the channel. And as always, make sure you stay tuned
Stay iconic.
and cue music.
Holy Grail.